All right, listen up. You want to change your life? Then you need to change the way you think, period. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have, but if you're not in control of it, it will control you. So today we're cutting through the noise. No fluff, no excuses, just 10 simple, powerful ways to improve your mentality and start living the life you're meant to live. Let's go. That voice inside your head, it's always talking, always commenting, always judging. The problem is most of us don't realize how much of what it says is negative, self-defeating, and just plain wrong. We've lived with it for so long that we assume it's telling the truth. But it's not. That voice is shaped by past experiences, fears, doubts, and other people's opinions. It repeats old insecurities, plays out worst-case scenarios, and constantly tells you why you can't do something. The worst part, if you don't take control of it, it will control you. Your inner voice determines how you see yourself. If it's always critical, you'll feel like you're never enough. If it constantly reminds you of your failures, you'll struggle to believe in your ability to succeed. If it tells you to play it safe, you'll never take the risks necessary to grow. This is why changing how you talk to yourself is one of the most powerful things you can do. You have to train your brain to work for you, not against you. Think about this. If a friend talked to you the way your inner voice does, would you stay friends with them? Probably not. You wouldn't tolerate someone who constantly criticized you, doubted your abilities, and reminded you of your mistakes. So why do you accept it from yourself? The truth is, you don't have to. You have the power to rewire that voice, to make it your biggest supporter instead of your worst enemy. The first step is awareness. You have to catch yourself in the act. The next time you think, I'm not smart enough, or I always mess things up, stop. Literally pause and recognize that thought for what it is, a story, not a fact. Your brain is running on autopilot, repeating the same limiting beliefs you've been carrying for years, but just because you've thought something for a long time doesn't make it true. Once you catch the negative thought, you have to replace it with something better. This isn't about fake positivity or pretending everything is perfect. It's about giving yourself a new script, one that actually helps you move forward instead of holding you back. If your mind says, I'll never figure this out, flip it to, I can figure this out step by step. If it says, I'm not good enough, replace it with, I'm capable and I'm getting better every day. The more you do this, the more your brain rewires itself. There's actual science behind this. Your brain has something called neuroplasticity, which means it can change and adapt based on how you use it. Every time you replace a negative thought with a positive one, you strengthen new neural pathways. Over time, the negative voice gets weaker and the supportive voice gets stronger. It won't happen overnight, but if you stay consistent, you will notice a shift. One of the most powerful ways to rewire your inner voice is through action. Your brain believes what you show it. If you keep telling yourself, I'm confident, but you never step outside your comfort zone, your brain won't buy it. But if you take small, courageous steps, speaking up in a meeting, starting that project you've been putting off, trying something new, your brain starts to believe, oh, we actually can do this. Another key is to be intentional about what you expose yourself to. If you're constantly around negative people or consuming content that reinforces self-doubt, your inner voice will reflect that. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with uplifting influences, books, podcasts, conversations that inspire you, you'll naturally start to think differently. You become what you repeatedly hear. This is not about being perfect. You will still have moments of doubt, and that's okay. The goal isn't to silence your inner critic completely. It's to stop believing everything it says. When that critical voice shows up, treat it like background noise. Acknowledge it, but don't engage with it. Then choose a better thought and keep moving forward. The more you do this, the more your mind will work for you instead of against you. Your mind is like a sponge, constantly absorbing whatever you feed it. Every single thing you consume, whether it's the news, social media, conversations, books, or even the people you spend time with, shapes your thoughts, your beliefs, and ultimately your actions. The problem is, most people don't realize just how much their environment influences them. They go through life without questioning what they allow into their minds, and as a result, they end up filled with negativity, fear, and self-doubt. If you want to improve your mentality, you have to take control of what you consume. Think about it. If you eat junk food all day, how do you feel? Sluggish, tired, and unhealthy. The same thing happens with your mind. If you constantly feed it negativity, you will feel drained, anxious, and stuck. That's why it's so important to be intentional about the information and energy you allow into your life. Your mind is always processing data, whether you realize it or not. If you're scrolling through social media and seeing nothing but complaints, drama, and fear-driven headlines, your brain absorbs that energy. It starts to shape your perspective, making the world seem more negative than it actually is. You begin to think in limiting ways, focusing on problems instead of solutions. And before you know it, your mindset takes a hit. One of the biggest culprits of mental clutter is the news. Most news outlets are designed to grab attention by focusing on fear, conflict, and worst-case scenarios. If you wake up and immediately check the news, you're starting your day with stress and negativity. That stress lingers in the back of your mind, influencing your mood, your decisions, and your overall outlook on life. This doesn't mean you should ignore what's happening in the world, but it does mean you should be mindful of how much negative information you consume. Instead of constantly refreshing news updates, set specific times to check in and balance it out with uplifting, solution-focused content. Social media is another major factor. The average person spends hours every day scrolling through a highlight reel of other people's lives, comparing themselves and unconsciously adopting beliefs from what they see. If you're following accounts that make you feel insecure, unworthy, or like you're falling behind in life, it's time to take control. Unfollow negativity, curate your feed so that it inspires you, educates you, and pushes you forward instead of pulling you down. Surround yourself with voices that uplift you, not ones that make you doubt yourself. The same goes for the people around you. If you constantly surround yourself with negative, complaining, or fearful individuals, their energy will rub off on you. It's human nature. We absorb the attitudes and habits of those we spend the most time with. Pay attention to the people in your life. Do they encourage growth or do they keep you stuck? Do they challenge you to be better or do they reinforce limiting beliefs? This doesn't mean you have to cut people off completely, but it does mean setting boundaries and being intentional about who gets your time and energy. Seek out people who inspire you, challenge you, and support your goals. Books, podcasts, and other forms of content are also powerful tools for shaping your mentality. The right book can completely shift the way you think. The right podcast can give you a new perspective that changes everything. The right conversation can open doors you never even knew existed. Make it a habit to feed your mind with information that aligns with the person you want to become. Read books that challenge your thinking. Listen to podcasts that push you to grow. Watch videos that teach you new skills or inspire you to take action. Your mind is a reflection of what you put into it. If you fill it with negativity, fear, and distractions, that's what you will experience in your life. But if you take control of your mental diet, you will notice a shift. You will start thinking differently, seeing opportunities instead of obstacles, and developing a stronger, more positive mentality. The key is awareness. Pay attention to what you consume and make the choice every day to feed your mind with things that push you forward. Discomfort is not the enemy. It is the gateway to growth. Yet most people spend their entire lives avoiding it. They stay in their comfort zones, playing it safe, fearing failure, and convincing themselves that they are not ready. The problem is, every time you avoid discomfort, you reinforce fear. You train your brain to associate challenges with danger. And over time, this keeps you stuck in the same place, never growing, never evolving, and never reaching your full potential. If you want to improve your mentality, you have to rewire how you think about discomfort. Instead of seeing it as something to run from, you must learn to embrace it as a sign that you are moving in the right direction. Growth does not happen in places where you feel safe and secure. It happens when you push yourself into situations that force you to adapt, to learn, and to become stronger. Think about a time when you accomplished something that once scared you. Maybe it was speaking in public, starting a new job, or learning a difficult skill. At first, it felt uncomfortable. Maybe you doubted yourself. Maybe you felt nervous, but you did it, and afterward you were better for it. That discomfort you felt, that was growth in action. It means you were stretching beyond what you previously thought possible, and that is exactly what you need to do if you want to level up in life. Most people avoid discomfort because they think it means something is wrong. They assume that if something feels hard, it's a sign they are not good enough or not ready. But the truth is, discomfort is proof that you are on the edge of a breakthrough. If something challenges you, that is where the magic happens. The people who achieve great things in life are not the ones who wait until they feel comfortable. They are the ones who take action despite discomfort. They recognize that fear and uncertainty are part of the process, and they lean in instead of backing away. Think about working out at the gym. If you lift the same light weights every day, your muscles will never grow. You have to challenge them by increasing the weight, pushing through the burn, and embracing the discomfort that comes with it. Your mentality works the same way. If you never push your mind to handle new challenges, it remains weak and untested. But when you intentionally step into discomfort, whether it's learning something new, taking risks, or doing things that scare you, you build mental resilience. You become stronger, more confident, and more capable. One of the biggest lies people tell themselves is that they need to feel ready before they take action. They wait for the perfect moment, for the fear to go away, for confidence to magically appear. But that moment never comes. Confidence is not something you have before you start. It is something you build through action. The first time you do something new, it will feel uncomfortable. That is normal. But the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Repetition breeds confidence. Action reduces fear. Every time you lean into discomfort, you prove to yourself that you are capable of handling hard things, and that belief transforms the way you approach life. The key is to stop waiting for discomfort to disappear and instead start making discomfort a habit. Make it a goal to do at least one thing every day that challenges you. It does not have to be something huge. It can be as simple as starting a conversation with a stranger, saying yes to an opportunity you would normally avoid, or taking the first step on a project you have been putting off. The more you expose yourself to discomfort, the more your brain learns that it is not something to fear. It becomes just another part of growth, just another step toward the life you want. Your ability to handle discomfort determines your ability to succeed. If you are willing to lean into challenges, to take action despite fear, and to trust that growth happens outside your comfort zone, you will develop a mentality that can handle anything life throws your way. The more you embrace discomfort, the more you expand your potential, and the more unstoppable you become. Your body and mind are deeply connected. The way you move affects the way you think, feel, and respond to life. When you're stuck in a negative mindset, feeling sluggish, unmotivated, or overwhelmed, the quickest way to shift your mentality is to change your physical state. Movement is a direct line to mental clarity, energy, and confidence. It is one of the simplest yet most overlooked tools for transforming your mindset. Think about how you feel when you sit all day, slouching over your phone or computer. Your energy drops, your motivation fades, your mind starts to spiral into self-doubt or overthinking. Now, compare that to how you feel after a brisk walk, a workout, or even just standing up and stretching. There's a noticeable shift in your energy. Your thoughts feel clearer, your confidence rises, and suddenly, problems that seemed overwhelming a moment ago don't feel as impossible. That's the power of movement. Your brain thrives on physical activity. Science shows that exercise increases blood flow to the brain, releasing endorphins and neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, chemicals that boost mood, reduce stress, and improve focus. When you move, you're literally changing your brain chemistry. You're creating a mental environment that is primed for productivity, resilience, and motivation. This is why some of the world's most successful people prioritize movement in their daily routine. It's not just about fitness. It's about keeping their mindset sharp and their energy high. If you're feeling stuck, uninspired, or mentally drained, the best thing you can do is move your body. It doesn't have to be an intense workout. Even small movements like standing up, stretching, taking a short walk, or doing a few jumping jacks can shift your mental state almost instantly. The key is to make movement a habit, a built-in reset button for your brain whenever you need it. Instead of waiting for motivation to strike, use movement as a tool to generate it. Posture also plays a huge role in how you think and feel. When you sit slouched over with your shoulders rounded and head down, your body sends signals to your brain that you're tired, powerless, or disengaged. On the other hand, when you stand tall, take up space, and move with confidence, your brain follows suit. This is why techniques like power poses have been shown to increase confidence and reduce stress. The way you carry yourself directly impacts your mentality. So be mindful of your posture throughout the day. There's also a strong connection between movement and emotional resilience. When you push yourself physically, whether it's lifting weights, running, dancing, or even just walking up a hill, you build mental toughness. You prove to yourself that you can handle discomfort, push through challenges, and keep going even when something feels hard. This resilience carries over into other areas of life. When you train your body to persist, you train your mind to do the same. Movement is also a powerful way to break patterns of stress and negativity. When you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed, your body stores that stress, your muscles tense up, your breathing becomes shallow, and your nervous system gets stuck in fight or flight mode. Physical activity helps release that built-up tension. Deep breathing, stretching, and even shaking out your arms and legs can signal to your brain that you are safe, helping you regain control over your thoughts and emotions. The best part is, you don't need hours in the gym to experience the benefits. Even just a few minutes of movement can create a shift. A quick stretch in the morning, a 5-minute dance break, a short walk outside, or even just standing up and rolling your shoulders can make a difference. The goal is to integrate movement into your daily life so that it becomes second nature. When you make a habit of moving regularly, you're not just improving your physical health, you're strengthening your mentality, building resilience, and setting yourself up for success in every area of life. Energy is everything. The way you feel determines how you show up in life. When your energy is low, everything feels harder, your motivation dips, your focus fades, and even simple tasks feel overwhelming. But when your energy is high, you feel unstoppable. You move with confidence, take action without hesitation, and handle challenges with ease. Most people don't realize how much their energy impacts their success, but the truth is your ability to think clearly, make decisions, and push forward is directly tied to how well you manage your energy. The first thing to understand is that energy isn't just about how much sleep you get or how much caffeine you consume. It's about how you take care of yourself physically, mentally, and emotionally. Your body is like a battery, and everything you do either charges it or drains it. If you're constantly exhausted, overwhelmed, or running on empty, it's nearly impossible to maintain a strong mentality. That's why protecting your energy is one of the most important things you can do. One of the biggest energy drainers is stress. When you're constantly worried, anxious, or overthinking, your brain burns through energy at an incredible rate. It's like leaving multiple apps open on your phone. Eventually, the battery dies. Managing stress isn't just about feeling better in the moment. It's about preserving your mental and physical energy so you can stay focused, clear-headed, and productive. Practices like deep breathing, meditation, and simply taking breaks throughout the day help reset your system and prevent burnout. Your energy is also affected by the people you surround yourself with. Some people lift you up, inspire you, and make you feel energized. Others drain you with negativity, complaints, and drama. If you spend too much time around people who constantly bring you down, your energy will suffer. That's why it's important to set boundaries and be mindful of who you let into your space. Surrounding yourself with positive, motivated individuals will naturally boost your energy and help you stay in a strong mental state. Another major factor in energy management is the food you eat. Your body runs on fuel, and if you're constantly feeding it processed foods, sugar, and caffeine, you'll experience crashes and sluggishness. On the other hand, eating nutrient-rich foods gives you steady energy throughout the day. Hydration is just as important. Added hydration leads to fatigue, brain fog, and irritability. Drinking enough water keeps your mind sharp and your body functioning at its best. Movement is another key component of energy. It might seem counterintuitive, but expending energy through exercise actually gives you more energy in the long run. Even a short walk, stretching, or a few minutes of movement can boost your circulation, improve your mood, and increase your overall energy levels. People who stay active consistently report higher energy, better focus, and a stronger mindset. Your sleep habits play a crucial role as well. Many people underestimate how important quality sleep is for mental clarity and emotional stability. Poor sleep leads to irritability, lack of focus, and a weakened ability to handle stress. Creating a sleep routine, going to bed at the same time, limiting screen time before bed, and creating a relaxing environment can dramatically improve your energy levels. Another overlooked energy drain is clutter, both physical and mental. A messy environment creates mental chaos. If your workspace or home is disorganized, it subtly drains your energy by making it harder to focus. The same goes for mental clutter. If your mind is constantly filled with unfinished tasks, worries, and distractions, it weighs you down. Taking time to declutter your space and organize your thoughts can create a sense of clarity and renewal. Lastly, what you focus on impacts your energy. If you constantly dwell on problems, negativity, or things you can't control, you'll feel drained. But when you shift your focus to gratitude, possibilities, and solutions, you generate positive energy that keeps you moving forward. Your mindset and your energy go hand in hand. When you manage your energy well, you create a foundation for a strong mentality, making it easier to stay motivated, resilient, and in control of your life. Discipline is the bridge between goals and achievement. It's not about motivation or waiting until you feel ready. It's about making a decision and following through no matter how you feel. The truth is, motivation is unreliable. Some days you'll wake up feeling inspired and driven, but other days you won't. If you only take action when you feel like it, you'll never be consistent. And without consistency, progress is impossible. Discipline is what keeps you going when motivation fades. It's the ability to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it. Most people think discipline is about willpower, but it's actually about systems and habits. If you rely on sheer willpower to get things done, you'll eventually burn out. Willpower is a limited resource. It gets depleted throughout the day as you make decisions, resist temptations, and deal with challenges. This is why the most successful people don't rely on willpower alone. They create systems that make discipline easier. They remove distractions, set clear routines, and design their environment in a way that supports their goals. Instead of forcing themselves to make the right choice every time, they make the right choice the default option. One of the best ways to build discipline is by starting small. A lot of people make the mistake of trying to change everything overnight. They set huge goals, go all in for a few days, and then burn out because they tried to do too much too soon. The key to lasting discipline is starting with manageable steps and gradually increasing them. If you want to start working out, don't commit to an hour-long gym session every day. Start with 10 minutes. If you want to build a reading habit, don't try to read a whole book in one sitting. Start with one page. The goal is to make it so easy that you can't fail. Once the habit is in place, you can build on it. Another important aspect of discipline is accountability. It's easy to break promises to yourself when no one is watching, but when you involve someone else, the stakes get higher. This is why people who work with coaches, trainers, or accountability partners tend to be more consistent. They know that someone is expecting them to show up. And that extra layer of responsibility makes a huge difference. Even if you don't have an external accountability partner, you can create accountability by tracking your progress. Keeping a simple checklist or journal where you record your daily actions gives you visual proof of your consistency and keeps you committed. Discipline also requires knowing your triggers. Everyone has moments of weakness, times when they're tempted to skip a workout, break a habit, or procrastinate. The key is recognizing these moments before they happen and having a plan in place. If you know that scrolling on your phone leads to wasted hours, put your phone in another room when you need to focus. If you know that you always skip workouts when you're tired, schedule them at a time when you have more energy. Self-awareness allows you to create strategies that prevent you from slipping into old patterns. Another powerful strategy for building discipline is the never skip twice rule. Everyone has off days. You might miss a workout, forget to meditate, or eat something that's not aligned with your goals. That's normal. The problem isn't missing once. The problem is letting one miss turn into a streak. The never skip twice rule means that if you miss a day, you commit to getting back on track immediately. This prevents small setbacks from turning into full-blown habits of inconsistency. It's also important to shift your mindset about discipline. A lot of people see it as restrictive or punishing, but discipline is actually freedom. When you are disciplined, you don't have to rely on motivation, stress about procrastination, or feel guilty about not taking action. You build confidence because you know that you can trust yourself to follow through. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you strengthen your belief in your own abilities. Over time, discipline becomes who you are, not just something you do. Taking action is the most important step in improving your mentality and transforming your life. Too many people get stuck in overthinking, waiting for the perfect moment, or trying to figure everything out before they start. They tell themselves they need more information, more preparation, or more confidence before they take the first step. But the truth is, clarity, confidence, and momentum come from taking action, not from thinking about it. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes. Fear, doubt, and excuses start to build up, and before you know it, you've talked yourself out of doing anything at all. The key to overcoming hesitation is understanding that action leads to progress, and progress leads to motivation. Most people believe they need to feel motivated before they can take action, but that's completely backward. Action comes first and motivation follows. The moment you take a step, no matter how small, you start building momentum. That momentum creates energy, and that energy fuels your motivation. This is why starting is the hardest part. Once you begin, things become easier. Even if you don't know exactly what to do, just doing something puts you ahead of 99% of people who are still waiting for the perfect time. Another common trap is perfectionism. Many people believe they need to have everything figured out before they begin. They don't start a project because they're afraid it won't be perfect. They don't launch a business because they don't feel ready. They don't put themselves out there because they worry about what people will think. But perfectionism is just fear disguised as productivity. It tricks you into believing that you're preparing when in reality, you're just avoiding the discomfort of taking action. The truth is, nothing will ever be perfect, and you'll never feel completely ready. The only way to learn, grow, and improve is by taking imperfect action. You adjust as you go. You figure things out along the way. Failure is another major reason people hesitate to take action. They're afraid of making mistakes, looking foolish, or falling short of their expectations. But failure is not the opposite of success. It's a necessary part of success. Every successful person has failed more times than they can count. The difference is that they don't let failure stop them. They see it as feedback, a lesson that helps them grow. When you shift your perspective and start seeing failure as a stepping stone rather than a dead end, taking action becomes much easier. One of the most effective ways to stop overthinking and start acting is to use the 5-second rule. The moment you feel the urge to take action, whether it's sending an email, making a call, or starting a workout, count down from 5 and then move. This interrupts the part of your brain that creates hesitation and gives you just enough time to push yourself into action before fear and doubt take over. Small tricks like this can make a massive difference in breaking the cycle of inaction. Another strategy is to break your goal down into ridiculously small steps. When a task feels too big, your brain naturally resists it. But when you shrink it down to something easy, you eliminate the mental barrier. If you need to write a report, just commit to writing 1 sentence. If you need to exercise, just put on your workout clothes. If you need to clean your house, just start with 1 corner of a room. The moment you take that first tiny step, your brain shifts from resistance to engagement, and before you know it, you're in motion. The people who succeed in life aren't necessarily the smartest, most talented, or most prepared. They're the ones who take action despite fear, doubt, and uncertainty. They're the ones who start before they're ready, fail, and try again and keep moving forward no matter what. Action is the great equalizer. It closes the gap between where you are and where you want to be. If you want to improve your mentality, build confidence, and create real change in your life, the only thing that matters is taking that first step. Listen, this is your life. Your mindset is the key to unlocking everything you want. But knowing this stuff isn't enough. You have to apply it. So here's the challenge. Pick one of these strategies and implement it today. Not tomorrow, not next week, today. Because the only way to change your life is to start changing your mind right now. Let's go.